Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Ryan, and welcome to a brand new episode of Screenshot Saturday for February 25th, 2017. Now, today is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because, to be quite frank, I am just a bit swamped and behind with the work that I want to do for the channel, specifically with the next episode of Broken Glasses, which will be covering Super Daryl Deluxe. Super Daryl Deluxe is an RPG, so it is taking me some time to really get my thoughts in order and get a fair understanding of the game. Despite the fact that the game is obviously far from being finished, there was quite a lot of content in the demo that I was given. And so you can expect that coming relatively soon as I put the finishing touches on the script and get that going. But that is, I've blabbered on quite enough. Let's get right into today's show. First up today is a game you might have seen featured on the channel before in what was only the second episode of Broken Glasses. Twirlbound Studios Pine debuted a new trailer today, announcing their presence on Steam Greenlight, as well as plans for their Kickstarter launching March 9th. There will be a link below to that episode of Broken Glasses detailing what the game exactly is all about, as well as my initial impressions. But for now, check out this pretty nifty trailer here. Bendy and the Ink Machine is a first-person puzzle-action horror game that puts the player in the role of a classic animator who returns to a place he hasn't been in a long time and discovers a mystery that will take him to, quote, a dark future. The aesthetic here is interesting to me as it adopts a style reminiscent of the black and white cartoons that debuted in the late 20s, ushering in what was known as the golden age of animation, an age heralded by the likes of Steamboat Willie or Felix the Cat. Bendy and the Ink Machine frames its titular character in a decidedly less inviting light than they, and as a result, his warm grin transforms into a thin veil concealing sinister notions. Have a look. As a big fan of the work of Hayao Miyazaki, I appreciate games and film that adopt surrealistic art and characters that possess a certain quality that sort of go beyond the base notion of surrealism. In other words, the end result has character and just isn't weird for weird's sake. Such is the case with this next game, Figment, Bedtime Digital's 3D isometric action-adventure game, which takes place within the kind of surreal world of which I speak. Have a look here at this short snippet taken from a June 2016 developer vlog, where the game's emphasis on music and its integration into the world and its characters is discussed.
The music is quite important in Figment. The music is very important in Figment, actually. We came up with this idea that we wanted musical elements in the game, like musical as in characters singing to each other. And we tried to implement that not only as musical cutscenes or whatever, but also as part of the actual gameplay, where like the enemies you meet have a song where they sing like actual lyrics about themselves and their motives and so on.
Well, for you I have a gift full of black death, red nose and green gills, a pharmacy of bitter pills, drenched in sweat and with a scream, you wake up from my fever dream.
Like you would see in a classical musical on a stage or whatever. I've seen games that have like a song at the credits or inside the game or something, but never where the actual characters start to sing to each other and interact in that musical sense. I think that's kind of funny, and the whole feeling of the game is kind of lighthearted, and we have this humor through the dialogue and also actually in the whole world. So I think it adds something kind of funny and surreal to the feeling. For each world in the game, we have this kind of main beat, or there's actually variations of the same main beat or bass track that runs throughout that world with a certain melody and certain instruments going on there. And then on top of that, I have all these kind of dynamic instruments that I add on top of it. For example, we have trumpets in the level, actually standing there, trumpets playing. And once you get close to those trumpets, they will kind of blend into the music depending on how close you get to those instruments. So, but then as you travel around the world, you get these extra layers that you can, depending on how you walk around the level, can turn up and down. But it's actually a big pile of layers of music going on top of each other. Like the same loop, you couldn't play everything at once, it would sound terrible, but I made it so that everything kind of fits together and in the same beat and everything like that. So that was something new for me also. And it was a really cool experiment to try to see how much different stuff can we put, how many different expressions of music can we kind of put into the same kind of bass rhythm or bass track that we have underneath everything.
Okay guys, that wraps up this week's episode of Screenshot Saturday. Again, I apologize for it being a short episode, but there's a lot of work that I want to get done for the channel, and so we're going to have to cut it with 3. Stay tuned next week for more Screenshot Saturday highlights, as well as a brand new episode of Broken Glasses coming up soon, I promise. This is one I'm really looking forward to. Take it easy, guys. Bye.